Hey DNA Strand crew, TJ here with the Dynasty DNA Fantasy Football Podcast. Today we're going to be bringing you our last pre-NFL draft wide receiver film session review, part 3. Tune in with us and also see how you could win a signed Bijan Robinson mini helmet. Should be a juicy episode. Join us, won't you?
Welcome to the Dynasty DNA Fantasy Football Podcast, where we talk Dynasty Fantasy Football, fantasy rankings, and everything NFL. Join us and dominate your Dynasty league. It's in your DNA. And here's your host, TJ Blake.
Welcome back, DNA Strand crew. Yes, I'm the host of the Dynasty DNA Fantasy Football Podcast, TJ Blake. You can find me on Twitter at TJBlakeDNA. And as always, we're joined by our show architect and co-host, the A-Train Andy Blake. You can find him on Twitter at A-TrainDNA. How you doing today, Ann?
Good. How are you guys doing?
We're doing good. And next in the line of order, we got the producer and the co-host, Ty Blake. You can find him on Twitter at DynastyDNA. Ty, what's going on, Ty?
Not much. What's up?
No, not much. And last but not least, it's the co-host with the most. It's Muscles Ryan Mail. You can find him on Twitter at DynastyDNA Mus. What's going on, man?
Oh, what's happening?
Not much, buddy, not much. Well, we're going to be hopping in today. We're going to be getting into our third wide receiver film session breakdown. This is the last one pre-NFL draft.
I need a break. Hours and hours of film.
Burning the midnight oil. I'll tell you, Ty was just like victimized by this. He's just like, you can see it in his face right now. He's just long. He's lost.
I could tell when he walked in. He's ready for a little break.
His hair's,
we all are.
His hair's all over his head. He's been in another world. But it has been a lot of guys. But, you know, it's really good to go over them because you just don't know if you could have that diamond in the rough.
Yeah.
And it's good to review them. You never know. But before we jump into anything with the receivers, first and foremost, we're going to mention the Bijan Robinson mini helmet sweepstakes. Very first thing to do to be entered into this sweepstakes is if you follow us on Twitter and you retweet the picture of the helmet tweet, you'll be entered once to win the mini helmet. And, you know, that's awesome that you have a chance to win. But guess what? You also have 2 chances if you subscribe over to YouTube. So you could have 2 chances to win if you do that. Follow on Twitter, retweet the picture, and then you have 1 chance. And if you go over to YouTube and you subscribe, you have a second chance. So who could beat that? That's an awesome mini helmet, man. I'd love to have it in my collection.
Yeah, me too. I'm going to be making some burner accounts. Now I'm playing.
Hey, don't worry, guys. Don't worry. I have all on lockdown. There'll be high security alert. But honestly, guys, jump into it. It's free. You never know you can win it. And we'll be giving that away on the first round of the NFL draft. We're going to try to do a live show. Again, we're going to keep you updated, keep you posted, make sure that will go down. But for sure, we're giving it away that day. But we're hoping we'll have a live show.
Yeah.
But before we get into these receivers and start reviewing these guys, we're going to the breaking news of Mus.
All right, so Carson Wentz was released.
Oh, who had that on their bingo card?
I know, so
Yeah.
I almost think his days as a starter are probably,
Yeah, they definitely are.
yeah, probably numbered. Do you think he does get a starting job next year?
No.
I really just don't. You think about it, I'd rather just take a chance on one of these
I would too.
younger guys like Jordan Love or
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot of open spots.
right.
That
As I say that, but there's guys that float around. Jordan Love's going to be with Green Bay, I'm sure, but
Right.
like Trey Lance, what happens with that? Purdy, Jimmy G.
Yep, a lot of guys. Derek Carr was meeting with Indy among other teams already, so see what happens. He might be a
Yeah, that will
quick
be
signer.
that'll be interesting. Andy says Washington. I know that's where
Yeah.
you're really thinking.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So,
It'll be interesting to see where he ends up.
but I did see there's a thing with Washington. I think I know the head coach was there. I don't know who else was there, but basically they were saying like Sam Hauser, quarterback 1, but
right.
it's not really like set in stone. So,
Right.
kind of something I think we all thought.
Yeah.
Ron Rivera's on the hot seat, so in my opinion,
Yeah, see where he leans.
yeah.
The Bears are leaning towards trading number 1 pick. They came out and said so.
Oh wow! I mean, I heard rumors that Fields kind of wanted out too. Did
And a
you
lot
see
of
that?
people, oh yeah, and a lot of people
No.
still think that, but there's no way. I'm not the biggest Fields fan, but I definitely wouldn't take one of these quarterbacks over Justin Fields.
No. I saw there was a proposal to the league to make the roughing the passer reviewable.
Yeah, I mean, again, that would be good, but it would slow the game down.
Yeah,
you know?
It would.
That and it's just too much of a gray area.
Yeah,
Them gray area rules are just.
I know.
I hate that. Matt Nagy promoted to Chiefs offensive coordinator.
Oh, yeah, he's back. He's back.
He's back.
Yeah.
Like I was listening to Ray G, and like he said, Matt Nagy, when he was there, because he was the Chiefs offensive coordinator before or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And was he the offensive coordinator before?
The Chiefs?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, because he was talking
Yeah.
about how back in the day they used to run the ball a lot, so he was saying it could be,
I think he wasn't he on the staff, though, this year?
Yeah, but
The
he was
Chiefs?
just an assistant.
Just an assistant?
Yeah. And ever since they depromoted him or whatever, they passed the ball a lot more, so that might be something to watch. Joe Lombardi is the Broncos' new offensive coordinator.
Yeah, they brought in the failed Chargers ex-offensive coordinator.
Yeah. And then Vance Joseph's the new Broncos defensive coordinator, so they went out and got that all tied up in one day. Bobby Wagner was released.
Yeah.
So that's not really that fantasy relevant, I guess, unless you play IDP.
Yeah. Which, I mean, he had a pretty good season.
Yeah.
As bad as they were.
Yeah.
Quite a few tackles. He still has something in the tank.
I guess the Bucs plan to release Fournette. You said that there last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they'll go with Rachaad White, don't you, Ty?
Yeah, surely.
Yeah, I could see him bringing in somebody, but not really much of relevance. Like, who are they really going to bring in?
Right.
Yeah, I don't see them wasting a high draft. That would be stupid.
No, it would be.
They got so many more needs.
Right. This ought to make you happy. The Giants plan to release Golladay.
Yeah, it does. It does.
He's smiling, though, all the way to his bank.
He made a good living for a while.
Yeah,
so.
he did. He did.
Not doing shit and making all that money.
Yeah.
Next news, please.
Cowboys GM said they're not opposed to taking a running back in the first round.
Yeah, well, the GM's Jerry Jones.
Yeah.
He's a flashy pick guy, so.
Yep. Jalen Carter has a arrest warrant for reckless driving and racing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
killed
the
his
guy.
teammate.
The guy died,
Yeah.
so
So
it's a big deal.
That's not good.
I think they are misdemeanor charges right now. There's 2 of them, so it's kind of breaking news this morning.
Yeah.
And, I guess we'll see.
And Keenan Allen isn't going anywhere according to the Chargers GM. So.
Yeah.
And then Lions GM said Goff is our starter.
Yeah.
Yeah, and really, I mean, I'm not surprised by that. They got to stick with it. I mean, they
Right.
were one game away from the playoffs.
Oh, I agree. Then the Ravens GM came out and said he's still optimistic about signing Lamar. That's probably just
That's just like a
lip
fan
service.
Yeah, a fan-friendly little memo.
Yep. And then that's all I got for the news. But you want to talk about that Twitter poll Andy posted on there? DeAndre Swift versus Javonte Williams. Who would you rather have in Dynasty? What were the results of that?
DeAndre Swift 55%, Javonte 45%.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I think so too. Like, I don't know. To me, I'm just more on the Swift side.
Yeah.
We just got some news that just popped up on my phone that Jamal Williams and the Lions have mutual interest.
Yep.
Which we kind of figured.
Right.
But then there's also, things going around with Javonte not going to be ready for week 1. I don't think he is.
I saw that was a beat reporter that was his own opinion, and somebody took that and ran with it. Mm-hmm. As far as Peyton, the GM Peyton, he says he should be ready by week 1, but
Man.
That was a beat reporter that said he won't play most of 2023. So I take that, I guess, with a grain of salt.
But then also I seen Cody Carpentier posted about the Broncos GM Peyton says that, quote, I look at the depth chart. We used about 9 guys at running back this year. We do have Chase Edmonds under contract, but we will be looking to add to that position.
Right.
That's alarming to me. Now, is that going to be a 6th-round pick or is it going to be a 3rd-round pick?
No.
You know who fits that perfect? That Alvin Kamara kind of type style? To me, Tajay Spears.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah, so it's
But
Javonte.
they still need other things, though. That's the problem.
Yeah, but I mean, later round pick. But the thing is, Javonte's day's numbered. I mean, because so many people were so high on him, and
Right.
Now to me, I really don't want Swift or or Williams. Like, I'd rather just take a young guy, honestly. But that's what the poll was, and I'm like Muss. Surprised it was that close.
Yeah, I'm the biggest Javonte guy. And
I know. TJ was saying he figured you made some burner accounts and voted for Javonte.
No. I actually commented.
He's guilty, guys.
Yeah. I commented and said I'd rather have Swift, and his PPR upside is.
That's just it, man.
Yeah.
Like, he offers that pass catching, and they've both been banged up. And I mean, if you had to pick them, I think I'd go for the guy with the PPR upside.
One of you guys said about he's the hardest guy to value. I don't remember which one of you guys said that, but he is, because he could literally do nothing, or he could be like a top 5 back.
No, I agree. I agree.
I don't see top 5. And another thing that's concerning with Swift is he hasn't been able to stay healthy either. So.
Yeah, I guess they both have their injuries.
Yeah, they both do have their injuries.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's close, but I think the PPR is where I'd go.
Yeah, yeah. And I think I commented on that and said that, like, the PPR upside's just
it's crazy high.
Yeah, I mean, we were sitting there saying about him being a 1,000 guy.
I know.
So,
boy, that was a bad take.
Well, I mean, he has the potential. It's just staying healthy
and not being poached by Jamal Williams.
Right.
Got to catch Jamal.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, I like I said, biggest Javonte guy, but
yeah, it's hard. It is hard, but I mean, I don't think he's worth near what people still want to pay for him.
Right.
I mean, I would never go out there and buy a guy like that. I mean, even Swift. I mean, it just ain't worth it. But if I had to pick one, I'd pick Swift.
So here's the thing: do you think Javonte is worth a 23 first-round pick?
I mean, one pick, I would. I mean, I'm not going to say no for sure, but I wouldn't do it.
I don't.
If it's like 1.8 or lower, I would.
You think you would?
Yeah.
Ty's shaking his head.
I
wouldn't.
Don't. Oh.
You wouldn't do it, Ty?
Hell no.
I think what's really going to be important is how high some of these backs go.
I mean, if
you start seeing a bunch of 3rd round guys, but if you see these 4th and 5th round guys,
right? And I mean, it's going to depend on landing spots for a lot of these guys. Too.
It is.
I mean, just like my pre-NFL draft rankings, I'd probably rank Javonte ahead of a lot of these guys.
Would you?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know, man. A lot of these new backs coming in, you mean?
I think so, yeah.
I like Kendre Miller more than Javonte. That's a hot take for me right there.
Yeah, I think I do too.
I see a guy that's similar size, but Keandre could run faster.
He's younger.
Yeah.
He's not.
He don't have the injury held on him.
Don't have the injury.
Because, I'm kind of the same situation as you. I loved J.K. Dobbins coming out. Loved him.
Right.
And now that he went through all this and basically had another season, it's just like...
Yeah.
Now it's almost time you just want to move him.
Right.
He gets hurt again, all value is gone.
Yeah.
And I mean, you look even like Zach Charbonnet, and I mean, we could be getting ahead of ourselves. We don't know where these guys are going to end up or where they're picked.
Yeah.
But you look at Zach Charbonnet, he brings you the pass catching as well. I mean, for a big back.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can make the argument there.
Right.
And you can make the argument for Keandre with the speed and the non-injuries.
Yeah.
Because like I said, he's a big brawling back like Javonte is. Mm-hmm. And the thing is with Denver, man, we do not know what they're going to do.
Yeah.
It's a whole new regime. I hate that because it just makes everything cloudy.
I think possibly maybe 12. I don't think I can go any higher.
Okay.
I don't think I can. I don't even know if I'd do 12, to be honest. I don't think I would do a first round.
Yeah.
Kind of talking myself out of it, looking at Ty's face. He's like,
nah, man. They already have a couple okay backs, and then coming out, I guess they're going to draft another one.
Now,
it's just too murky for me, and he's never proven to me that he can be a workhorse, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's just so many good backs anymore, and I just don't think he can
just kind of turn and burn.
Right.
Yeah.
And with his size, he was kind of advertised to be a workhorse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it just never come to fruition.
See, I think I would give a late first for Swift, but I wouldn't feel real great about it.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
I wouldn't feel real great.
No, me either. But, I mean, you just hope maybe he gets out of Detroit or,
Yeah.
Maybe Jamal don't re-sign. I mean, he hopes he's back.
Right.
But really, how much less will he take to come back?
But the almost downside to Swift, too, that I will say is, like, if he were to get a workhorse role, I don't think he can take it.
No.
I don't think he can handle it.
No. Just wear and tear, man. He can't handle it game after game. And that's like I said, man, there's some guys in this class I really like. I mean, obviously, Bijan can take it. Mm-hmm. I mean, Keandre Miller to me can take it.
Yeah.
I think Zach Charbonnet can take it. And I'm talking all 3 downs. Like, they can be out there.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of guys that's interesting, especially on this back half. Now, Gibbs, is a little different. I don't think he's a true workhorse, but he's a really good PPR guy.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting. But there's a lot of good backs, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Definitely interesting. Is that it then, Muss?
That's all I got.
All right, man. We're going to hop into these receivers here. And as always, we're going to start over here to the right with the A-Train. He's going to be leading us off first to the plate. And it's going to be Tre Tucker, wide receiver, Cincinnati Bearcats, 5'9", 185 pounds. Tell us about him.
Well, it'll be the second Tucker I don't really like in his class.
Wonder if they're cousins.
He's now there wasn't a lot of film. I will say he looks pretty fast. Looks okay with the ball in his hands, but he is a senior, so he's a little bit older. Draft capital. I mean, this guy probably is not going to be, anything before the 5th round. He did have some really nice kick returns, punt returns, so I mean, he's going to make a roster, I'm sure, and that's probably what he's going to be, is a kick return guy, punt return guy. And they have him listed at 5'9", 185. I don't think he looks 185 pounds even.
No, I agree with that.
He looked a little bit smaller than that. So, really, right now in my rankings, I don't even have much to say about him. He is ranked 22nd, so out of 25 guys.
I'm like you. I think he offers something in the special teams. I think if you're looking at him, that's what you hope. Maybe he makes a roster based on his return ability.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the only thing he really offers is speed.
Yeah.
I mean, that is his only attribute that I could see. He is a pretty fast guy. He'll probably run a pretty good 40.
Yeah.
But it's just like everything else. I mean, it just don't really translate over to the NFL game. I mean, didn't see any like crazy good routes even for his size.
No.
I mean, if you're going to play him at receiver, you're going to play him in the slot. I mean, I think when you're drafting a guy like this, you're hoping like in the 5th round or something.
Yeah.
Like if you were to pick him, and I'm personally not interested.
I'd probably just take a chance on a running back or a tight end.
Right. I'm not interested. But if you were to pick him, I think what you're hoping is almost like a Ray McLeod type player.
That's honestly, I swear to God, is who that came to my mind.
Yeah. And I mean, you just hope that he can bring some value to a team like that.
Yeah.
And you never know. But I'm like you. There's so many good tight ends. There's so many good running backs in this class. I think you're better served with these later picks. I mean, I'm talking like especially rounds 3 to 5. I think that's where you want to be looking mainly.
Yeah.
But we're going to move over here. Some of these guys, like I said, there isn't really too much to talk about.
No, I was disappointed with some of these guys.
Yeah. And like I said, you look for the diamond in the rough. But
right.
I mean, it's a pig and a poke. You never know. But we're going to go over to the next guy. It's going to be Andre Iosivas, wide receiver, Princeton Tigers. He is 6'3", 200 pounds. I mean, I see a guy here that just an average player, it seems like, in every sense of the word. I mean, when I was hearing a lot of stuff about this guy, I heard a lot about the speed. Like, he's really fast. He's got good speed. He's got good speed. And I watched him, man, and he is fast, but I don't think he's like one of these lightning fast players. I think he's more like a 4.4 guy. I would say he's probably going to be somewhere around there on his best day.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the big thing about him here is I think he's mainly like a slot guy. I seen a lot of underneath stuff. I really didn't see anything too spectacular. When he did catch the ball downfield, he just got behind people. He was usually wide open, either busted coverage or, just bad defense.
Yeah.
He was playing some really weak competition at Princeton. I mean, when you're going up against some of these other Ivy League school type teams, I mean, there's not a lot of guys that can run 4.2 in the Ivy League.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's something to keep in mind. I mean, so it's easy for a good athlete in that league to look really good. So I think whenever everyone's saying that he's so fast, I think that's what you're seeing. He's fast against the competition he's playing.
Yeah.
I mean, okay route runner, nothing special. Again, he really went underneath. He has pretty solid hands. It did make him see some nice catches. I mean, it wasn't anything too spectacular, but he's pretty reliable.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing too special, but pretty reliable.
He played pretty stiff.
Yeah, he did play pretty stiff.
Yeah, he did. And I also didn't see a ton of contested catches. He don't have like a gigantic catch radius, but he's not bad. His catch radius isn't bad. Seems like he's got fairly long arms for his size.
Yeah.
But all in all, I mean, this is another guy that's probably going to be one of them 4th to 5th round guys.
Yeah.
I do think he's going to get drafted. He's got a good attitude. I could see him playing on the special teams. I could definitely see him being in that light in the special teams, like a special team type of guy for a team. I have him down as a day 3 pick. Could see him going to the New England Patriots. I think that's the kind of player that they would pick.
Yeah, and he's got a prototypical outside body frame, being 6'3", 200 pounds.
Yeah, and he does have a track star history.
Yeah, so. I did see that, but I didn't really see it. I think it's because of the stiffness, like you said.
Yeah.
I didn't really see, like TJ was saying, the track speed.
Well, you look at like him compared to like Hyatt or Downs or
right.
Even like in a chain and the running backs, I mean, he does not blow you away speed wise. I mean, like he is fast. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But like these people kept saying about fast, but when you're playing against Penn and Yale and Dartmouth, I mean, a lot of guys are going to look super fast.
Right.
But 4.4 is still super fast. But I mean, when you got guys like Hyatt that's going to maybe run a 4.3 for almost sure, and you have a shot at 4.2. I think he's got a shot, a high 4.2.
Oh, I don't think.
You don't think?
No.
I could see it, man. It'll be close. I mean, I think I'm going to put him in his times anywhere from 4.34 to 4.29.
Oh, wait. You talking about Hyatt?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought you said about.
No.
Okay.
No. Iosivas is going to he's going to run more like a 4.4. I think that's his best. 4.4 would be his best.
See, and I'm wondering too, like being a smaller school, how well he'll do in a 40. Like, how do they train that? Because you can still be fast, but like the 40s, you got to train for it. Like,
it's just
you just can't get under it and run a 4.4. Like, you got to have people really showing you.
Yeah, like when you go to Alabama or you go to LSU,
right? They have the top dogs that are going to show you, like, hey, you got to come off the line like this. You got to line up like this.
Right. That helps. But I mean, he is intriguing a little bit. But I'm like Andy. If I'm picking in the 3rd to 5th round, a lot of times, if I need a receiver, okay, but I'm looking at these tight ends and running backs.
Yeah.
I mean, he just didn't wow me enough to be that interested. I mean, but he is 6'3". I mean, that does help him. I think his size and his speed is fair enough. I think he's going to be an early day 3 pick. Like I said, I could see New England being in on him.
Yeah.
I mean, Bill will be like, oh, this guy make a great gunner, and he pick him. So,
yeah.
I mean, that's where I think, did you see anything different with him, Muss? I know you said he played stiff, but.
That's all I had was just to, I thought he had like the size and athleticism, but like I didn't really see him really use it other than he was all right in one-on-one coverage, and like I said, he did have the track background, and I just noticed that he just played stiff.
Yeah,
I know some people are worried about his hand size too. They said it's 8 5/8 inches long. So, and then I guess some comparable hand sizes to him in the league: Steven Sims, Marquise Goodwin, Jakeem Grant, and Eddie Royal.
Wow. Well, that's a really nice stat. I'm glad you found that.
Yeah.
That's interesting. And, that's when we watch the Combine. I know me and Ty are going to watch it this weekend. It's going to be interesting to see some of the measurables, see what they run and everything.
Yeah.
But, I'm glad you brought that up because, hey, man, a big man with small hands as a receiver, you need to have big, strong hands. So,
one thing I'll say, too, happy he's getting an opportunity, but the chance he's going to hit's, like, to me, slim to zero.
Yep.
Christian Watson was a small school guy, but more refined game, I thought. At North Dakota State has had multiple NFL players, Carson Wentz, Trey Lance.
Right.
I think Vincent Jackson might have went there, too.
Well,
do you remember him he was with the Bucs?
I remember him.
Chargers.
Yeah.
I don't remember Chargers. Where he went.
But, yeah, I'm pretty sure he was from there, too. So, but one thing I noticed with Watson, and, I mean, this will be something to watch with him, is... And I'm going to botch his name.
Iosivas.
Iosivas, okay. I heard it in the highlights. I was trying to remember, but
that's what I said. I'm going to botch it probably.
Yeah.
But the one thing with him is that how's he going to do at the Combine? Like, Christian Watson's out the Combine. Like, he ran super fast. Like, he was going against top-tier guys.
Yeah.
And still performing. Like, he's still showing out. So, it'll be interesting, too.
Yeah. Where'd you guys have him ranked?
Oh, he's down towards the bottom. I think I got him like 18 or something.
I got him at 19.
I have him at 19 also.
Do you?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that's a consensus. He's down at the bottom of the barrel.
Where'd you guys have Tre Tucker? He was 22nd for me.
21.
21.
I
Damn,
had him at 21 as well.
Okay.
Yeah, look at that.
I still got Ladson bringing him through here.
Yeah, he's at 25, Ladson.
He's 24.
He's probably like this. If I ever find these guys, I'm going to kill them.
I watched one film on Trey Palmer because you can't really find nothing, and I still put Trey Palmer ahead. Which we will go over that here, too.
Yeah, Iosivas, I mean, he's just one of them guys I think you hope that he makes. If you are going to pick him, you hope he makes his special teams, but I'm like you, and I think the probability of him hitting is very low.
Yeah.
I mean, Princeton, he's got a lot working against him.
Yep.
We're going to go over to Ty here to the next one. It's going to be another Cincinnati guy. It's going to be Tyler Scott, Wide receiver, Cincinnati Bearcats, 5'11", 185 pounds. What do you see in him, Ty?
Yeah, well, I know he ran an unconfirmed 4.29 in the 40.
That's interesting.
So decent speed there. He's improved every year in college on receptions, yards, and touchdowns. So, the progression looks nice on him. His last season at Cincinnati finished with 899 yards, 9 touchdowns, and 54 catches. And from what I've seen on him, he's an explosive athlete with sudden bursts of speed. Fantastic speed with impressive yard after a catch ability. Great route runner with the ability to escape the corners or stop on a dime. Effortlessly adjust for the football and can track the ball really well. He can rise vertically and snatch the ball out of the air. He has elite hand-eye coordination, and his hands are great in the open areas and contested areas. And for the stuff I didn't like about him, he has fantastic long speed, but not entirely a breakaway threat. Can be pushed around coming out of his breaks. Not the greatest run blocker, and he seemed like more of the middle of the field. He struggled, and he played a lot better on the outside. But overall, I think he could be a steal in your fantasy drafts. I mean, I liked what I seen, and I don't know if he's valued real high. I mean, I looked at a couple NFL mock drafts for fantasy, and really he wasn't nowhere near to be seen that I looked at. But I think he'd be a great guy if you get him in the later rounds.
For sure, and I'll tell you, man, unconformed 4.29. Now, I mean, that could mean a lot of things, but at the same time, if he's running close to that, I mean, it could be really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, especially with the combine coming up, he could turn some heads, so that's a really good stat to know. I'm like you, Ty. I didn't see a lot in the middle either. You know, I seen him work the outside a lot. I seen him work down the field. You know, I mean, I think he is like a raw prospect, but man, a guy with that speed, if he can run that fast,
and he's a former running back.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
that's really interesting, man. I could see him being a nice pick, and honestly, like, I don't know. See, if I was going to take a chance, if he runs that well, if I was going to take a chance on a receiver, that'd be someone like that in the 4th or 5th round.
Most definitely. I'm a Tyler Scott fan. I'll just say it.
Yeah.
That's cool that you guys thought. What did you think, Moss?
I actually I had him ranked last.
You had him ranked last?
Really?
Damn.
I just
For Ladson?
Yeah, I had Ladson.
Damn.
Yeah,
You had Ladson over him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
I don't know. I just didn't really see a whole lot. Like, I mean, other than him just being fast.
Huh.
But
Yeah, I mean, there's just I seen pretty good hands, man. For his, I mean, at 5'11" too. I mean, he's not like a little receiver. I mean, he's got some decent size to him. I mean, he's not a giant, but
5'11", 185. Yeah.
In this class, we've seen a lot of 5'9", 5'10". You know, I mean, just they're undersized guys. You know, so this is. I mean, I don't know. I like that he's kind of average size for a receiver. That's kind of average to me.
Yeah.
And the fact that he could move that well, and like I said, I did see him make some nice catches with his hands. So I do like him.
I mean, I'm like you. I thought he had solid hands. I seen some okay contested catches. Played a lot outside. So to me, I'm kind of like you guys. I'm worried he didn't play well in the middle, and being 5'11", 185 is probably where he's going to get his bread and butter.
That's where you're going to make your money.
Yeah, so I would like to see that some. Not the strongest route runner at times, and did miss, he almost gave up on some hard catches.
Yeah.
Like, he has good hands, but if it was, a little bit too far out, he's like, I'm done.
He just seems raw to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think so. And like Musk said, former running back, maybe that's why.
Maybe
he needs a little bit more time. A little bit concerned with his draft capital. He's probably going to be like a 4th, 5th round guy.
Yeah.
And really, again, just his size, being an outside guy, we just need to see that middle. But out of his pure athleticism, I think he has a chance.
Yeah, if he can run what he's capable of running, I mean,
I think he has a chance. I currently have him ranked at 15.
Yeah, I got him at 14.
Okay,
so he's someone that I did kind of like through the process. I mean, like I said, he's just someone that I'm like you. I really prefer these running backs and tight ends. I'll keep saying it. I really do. But if there was a guy there I really wanted and there was no one else there I wanted to pick, I would pick this
and I'm
guy.
talking 4th round.
Yeah,
right,
yep.
He is not a 2nd round rookie. He's not a 3rd round rookie pick.
No,
right.
No, but I mean, he's definitely someone to keep an eye on because I think with that speed, if he goes to the right, he needs coaching. Mm-hmm. He's just raw. He needs coaching. But I'm like Ty. I really like him.
Yeah.
I like him a lot. I mean, I like the speed. I think there's upside there. It's just, can they get the best out of him?
I watched it this morning, and I was tired.
You're ready for bed.
I was ready for bed.
Okay. Excuses.
maybe I missed it.
You did. You missed it bad. Oh, it's all good, Muss. Hey, when you're that different from the whole group, you got to be called out.
But at the same time, I don't like if you have him last, we have him there. He's not a guy that like we're heavily invested in.
No,
Right.
no.
Like his chances of hitting are still really slim.
Yeah.
They're probably like a 4% chance.
I think Ty put it best. Like, he could be a steal like in the 4th round.
Yeah.
Like, that's
Yeah.
the kind of steal.
Yeah,
we're
that maybe
talking
you could
about.
flip him for a 2nd round pick.
Right.
Yeah.
Like he gets the hype for a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
know?
He falls into a good situation. Mm-hmm. That could be all. That could be all it wrote. If he gets picked in the 4th round and he goes to, say, like the Chargers or something, it could be interesting.
Yep.
We're going to go over here to Muss. And Muss, we're going to see what you think of this guy. He might be one of the most frustrating people I ever watched because I think he's got a lot of ability, but it's Tayvion Wicks, wide receiver, Virginia Cavaliers, 6'2", 208 pounds. Tell me about him.
So he broke out his junior year, and then senior year he got derailed with injuries, and I guess the offense just kind of sputtered all year and everything like that. So, like you said, I mean, he's kind of frustrating because going off his junior year, like he had 1,200 yards, 9 touchdowns, and then senior year he turned into 430 yards and 2 touchdowns. So, like, we would have liked to see more, to build off that junior year. I think he would have got a lot more draft capital. But I saw, nice route running. I saw strong hands, and I saw a lot of quickness, but no, he's not going to take the top off of defense. Like, just no top end speed. Mm-hmm. I saw a lot of body catches. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Oh, yeah.
Big time.
He goes down really easy too, and just bad separate. Like he couldn't separate from a corner from what
Real
I saw.
handsy, isn't he?
Yeah.
Real handsy.
So, but I mean, he is a red zone threat. I saw that he scored 9 touchdowns, and a lot of them touchdowns were pretty nice. But like I said, just injuries and everything. Where did I rank? Oh, I ranked him 17. So
Okay.
So that's where I got him. So like, I saw a little bit, but not a lot. So, what do you guys think?
I did not really see much out of him. I'm like TJ. He can be pretty frustrating. He can definitely do stuff in the red zone, but he had a shit ton of drops.
Oh, that's the problem.
Ton of drops. 30 receptions. He had 9 drops. It's a 23% drop percentage.
Wow.
That's huge.
That is huge.
And he can't do anything contested catches. He only caught 3 contested catches on 14 attempts.
Wow.
So per PFF, that's a 21%. Like, that's horrible.
Yeah.
So, and then being 6'2", 208, like, you need to make them catches.
Yeah.
And you're just dropping balls all the time. 3 fumbles in 2 years. I'm kind of just out on him. Have him ranked 23rd. That's actually behind Tre Tucker. No, I'm sorry. Have him 20th. That's ahead of Tre Tucker, but still not good. Not good zone.
The thing is the drops. I mean, like, that was the thing that really that's why I said annoying, because I would see him make a nice play, and you look at his size, and he is fairly fast for his size. I mean, he's not a slug out there, but he would make a nice play, and you'd be like, oh, that was nice, and then you'd watch it and hit him right in the hands 5 yards away from the line of scrimmage, and it'd drop it, and there was no one even around the guy. So, I mean, that's what I mean by frustrating. Like, you see the ability. He just has, a lot of God-given talent, and he just can't seem to put it together. Like, he just can't focus,
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, when you have that many drops, it's hard. I mean, because believe me, we're Steeler fans. We deal with Quentin Johnston.
Yeah,
we know what drops are all about.
Yeah.
And it is frustrating. But, I mean, he's someone I think that he could be a fair enough prospect if he could fix that somehow.
Yeah.
But he's got to really fix it. But I'm like you guys, he does get handsy at the top of the routes.
Yeah, big
I've
time.
seen that a lot. And he uses his size. He tries to bully people.
Yeah.
And he's got to clean that up too. But he's definitely don't got the separating speed. But, I mean, like I said, I try so hard with these big receivers.
Yeah.
I love big receivers.
Yep.
When I was watching them, I'm like, okay, here's Tayvion Wicks. I'm like, I can't wait to see this big guy. Like,
Especially when they're fast.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, you could see that he can move, and then it's like, man, just another letdown. And like I said, he's not a slug. Some of these guys that we're hating on in a couple other episodes before this are kind of sluggish to me. Mm-hmm. He's not a slug, but like whenever you got no one around you within 15 yards and it hits you in the hands and you drop it. It's like, man, that ain't good.
Yeah, it's not good at all.
Another thing I thought that was concerning, 30 receptions on 72 targets.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's a horrible rate there.
Yeah. And I mean,
now you can blame some of that on quarterback, but when you're 6'2", 208, like, it's kind of should be hard to miss.
Yeah.
He's gifted with the size and the speed, kind of, but he just can't put it together. Like, he can't, you can't push like he pushes. I mean, he pushes too much. And then you can't have these drops.
Right.
And he's got to do a better job at running routes. His routes weren't nothing special either. He wasn't real explosive coming in and out of his breaks. But, I mean, he has the ability. Like I said, I've seen him make a couple really nice plays. But to me, I think he'll just probably be an average guy because of most of this. So it's unfortunate. But
if he even gets a chance.
Yeah, if he even gets a chance.
If you're dropping balls left and right.
Yeah. I mean, at best, he'll probably be a late 4th-round rookie pick.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or fantasy rookie pick.
If he gets picked in the NFL draft, I think it'll be a day 3 selection.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just a matter of, I mean, he's got to hope, number one, he goes to a good team that can help him overcome the struggles he has. Mm-hmm. And he's also just going to have to get the opportunity, and what's the chances of that?
Right.
If he runs like a good 40 or something, I mean, maybe a team takes a chance on him, just, hoping to put it together.
And that's what's important about these combines.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because if these guys can show out, they can make a better case for themselves.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, maybe he's a guy that, like you said, he runs a good 40. Maybe he has a good, throwing session with the quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Maybe he can up his game a little bit and up his draft stock a little bit. But, hey, everyone else can see he has ability. It's just, can you put it together?
Right. What'd you think, Ty?
Yeah, again, just like you guys, man, I think he has a lot of, potential, but the drops, man, if you're not a highly touted guy and you're dropping the football, you're not going to last long in the NFL.
No.
It's just a focus problem.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. A lot of it's focus. But that's going to do it for him. We're going to go over to the end here. It's going to be, we're getting into some of the big boys here. It's going to be Rashee Rice, wide receiver, SMU Mustangs, 6'2", 203 pounds. What'd you see?
Well, the big thing that stood out to me was I thought he did a really good job at forcing missed tackles.
Yeah.
Like, he's just kind of smooth, not super fast or nothing, just does a really good job making people miss. I thought he excelled in contested catches, and he had that really good college production we like to see. I know it's SMU, but, I mean, we've seen Emmanuel Sanders, Cortland Sutton. We've seen receivers come out of there and be successful. He actually broke Emmanuel Sanders' 2009 single-season receiving record. Sanders had 1339 and Rice put up 1355. So
that's impressive.
Yeah, that's really impressive. So he had 156 targets last year, 96 catches. So something that could be a little bit concerning. Were they force-fed or were they earned? I tend to lean like probably a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think he's good, but he's a good route runner, but he's not a great route runner.
Yeah.
So when you're getting that many targets, you're usually a great route runner. So
right.
It's a little bit of both for that. He does have the prototypical outside size, but he can play inside as well. So that really helps his case. Show good footwork. He's a real competitive player. I love that about him. Like, you can tell he's all about the game. He's all about winning. So that can get you far in the NFL, in my opinion. Created a lot of pass interference calls. I did see that quite often. Like, people would be on him and pulling him, and he would kind of like almost sometimes fall down. Not easy, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Put his arm up to show like, hey,
Try to get the call.
Yeah, trying to get the call. So I really like him for the most part. I have him currently ranked at number 8. So something that is a little bit concerning, though, he is a senior. He did okay at the Senior Bowl, so he's a little bit older. He did have 3 fumbles and get a little handsy at times. Had 21 drops in his 4-year span, 9 last year. So he does need to work on that a little bit. It's not a horrible percentage, but also it's not real great. So he's just, like I said before, he's not a crazy fast guy. I think he needs to run in the 4.5s.
Yeah.
To really maybe be a second-round pick. So this is going to be really important for him, this combine coming up.
Right.
Well, I do see some mock drafts have him going in the late first. I mean,
first.
So like, there's just some of them.
Yeah.
So like the hype is a little bit on him, but yeah, like he's pretty much projected, I think, overall as a second-round pick.
Right.
But there are some guys that really like him.
Yeah.
So it is interesting. I'm like you. I kind of like him myself.
And I can see it. I can see why. Like, whenever you just want to win. One other thing I want to say real quick, I forgot to mention this. I thought he had the limited route tree, though. Did you guys see that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
he
then,
just kind of ran the same shit. Like,
And that's what's kind of concerning about schools like SMU. Like, they have put out the receivers, so that's what makes you, like, hesitate, because you're like, man,
right.
that to me, that does lend some credibility. You know, I think that does help, because they know what they're doing bringing these guys in there. But the thing is, like, when you get into these schools like that, you get an athlete like that, you're like, okay, he's better than you. I'll just run him on a go route, or I'll run a bubble screen to him just to get him the ball.
Yeah.
Because they just try to get these athletes with the balls in their hands. And it's like, can he do more? I don't know.
Yeah, you just got to wait and see.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, that's what's so frustrating about some of these schools, because, I mean, you get athletes like that, you just want to get the ball in their hands, and it's so tough to tell. But I really do like him. I have him 7th, so he's up there on my list as well.
that's exactly where I have him.
You got him 7th?
Yeah, I mean,
I got him 8th, so we're all real close.
You like him too, Ty?
Yeah, I do. I just don't think he's a top 5 guy. I think a lot of people have him as a top 5 guy, and I wouldn't reach. That's the most dangerous thing with him. Don't reach.
No.
And that's a good point. Like, I think, like, if you're looking for a receiver, let's say that you're, like, picking up towards the top of your draft, and you're one of the lucky ones. You land, like, Bijan or JSN or someone like that, and you're really trying to build a roster. He's someone I'd be okay with taking, like, in the early 2nd round. Like, probably, like, anywhere from, like, 2.2 to, like, probably 2.6. I'd kind of like that pick. I'd feel good about it there, because you're really not reaching. That's kind of consensus.
Right.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
You got to be careful.
Yeah, definitely.
I like how you said about he's force fed, because I have that wrote down that he ran a lot of underneath routes.
Yeah.
It seemed like they were just
Get him the ball.
They were designed for him.
Yeah.
So
get the ball in his hands and see what he can do.
yeah.
Right, and that's where it gets a little bit scary. But then at the same time, though, if they are doing that, they're get the ball in our best
They
players'
trust
hands.
them.
Yeah, and let them make a play. So
Yeah.
I feel some people believe targets are earned. I'm in the middle, like
Right.
right, and that's exactly what he showed me.
Yeah, that's for sure. And, like I said, SMU has a track record of putting these guys out. Good, bad, or indifferently, that does matter, I think. Mm-hmm. And you got to take that into consideration. I mean, like, that does make me feel a little bit better.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not going to go sleep like a baby, but I will sleep a little bit more soundly.
yeah.
So we're going to go over to the next one here, and it's another one of the bigger hitters in this draft, a guy that's been getting a lot of buzz, and it's going to be Zay Flowers, wide receiver, Boston College Eagles, 5'10", 172 pounds. Man, I'll tell you what, this guy was getting so much hype on Twitter and everything. I've seen a lot about him. I do see there's some teams that are really interested in him, that really like him as well. I think he's just a solid player. I don't really have many knocks on the guy, but I didn't see anything that I really fell overly in love with either. I mean, he's a decently fast guy. He's not overly fast. He's not a burner. He's not the greatest in contested catch. Didn't see a lot of contested catches with him. I mean, Boston College seemed to kind of the same thing. They tried to force feed him a lot, try to get the ball in his hands. I mean, like, I think the opening game, I was watching one of the games, I think it was against Rutgers or something like that. They said they wanted him to touch the ball a minimum 15 times.
Yeah.
I mean, they tried bringing him across the line, doing them little pitch passes to him. I think it's kind of the same type situation. You got an athlete in their league that's a little bit better maybe than most guys that are on the defenses, and they want to get the ball in his hands. I mean, he's got one thing I will say is he's got pretty good hands. I mean, he's pretty reliable. I didn't see a ton of drops, but just kind of his routes were not that great to me. I mean, I didn't see a lot of great route running out of him. I mean, he wasn't real explosive in and out of his breaks at times. I mean, I seen it like he kind of coasted,
Yeah.
And I seen a lot of times, like going back to force feeding the ball. A couple games I watched, a lot of balls got intercepted when they were going his way. Did you notice that too?
Big time.
Yeah, I mean, so that was something else that was kind of like a red flag to me. Like, I don't know, it seemed like corners and safeties kind of undercut him or jump the route. I mean, he just don't have that ability to go up and get it, I don't think. And being 5'10", I don't know, man. I see a guy that's an average NFL receiver. Like, I like him. I think he's okay, but he's just average to me. Right now I have him ranked 8th. I didn't see anything that just stood out to say, I just love this guy. Like, I seen a bunch of stuff that said, I think he's a safe pick, but outside that, I don't think he's going to be someone that you could bet the farm on.
Right.
I think he's that guy that could probably get you maybe 8 to 12 points on average a game. Maybe he goes off every once in a while and has a good game, like a Zay Jones type of player. I'm not just saying that because Zay, but it's really similar. Like Zay Jones can do that. Zay Jones can go off and have an 8-5-point game, and then all of a sudden he can get you a 20-point game. Mm-hmm. I could see Zay Flowers having a career like that. I just don't think he's a dominator. You know, when everyone was giving this guy a lot of buzz, I like to see guys that are a dominator. I want to see someone that's like, okay, there's no doubt in my mind he can take a game over. You know, and I just didn't see it. Like, I seen a really solid player, but I didn't see anyone that could dominate anybody. What did you guys think of him?
So my big thing is he's 5'10", 172. He supposedly gained, all that weight, which you could tell he got
13 pounds.
13 pounds, which I think's bullshit, but he definitely did get bigger. Like, you know what I mean? He is working on getting bigger.
And he's got a good attitude.
Yeah, he's got a good attitude. Something I'd really like too, he can play outside and slot.
Yeah, I wrote that down.
They move him around.
That's pretty impressive for his size.
It is. It is. For being, 5'10", at that weight, playing both is really good. He plays pretty physical. I thought he did a really good job at finding open spots in the field. Like, he's really good against zone coverage, but man coverage, he definitely struggles.
He don't like press.
No, he don't really like press, and like a big thing with him is he bogs his routes down. It's kind of hard to explain. So when you're running a route and you take extra steps, a cornerback's checking your hips. So if he sees you're bogging down your route, he knows you're coming back to the ball. Like, he kind of knows where you're going. And I think that's where the interceptions were coming from.
Big time.
So he's really got to work on his route running, in my opinion. Something that this really reminds me of, why wasn't he invited to the Senior Bowl? Is anybody, I don't know if he declined.
Yeah, that I don't know.
It seems like they didn't invite him. This kind of reminds me of Tyler Johnson. Like, the Dynasty community was big on Tyler Johnson. He didn't go to the Senior Bowl. He wasn't invited, and it just goes to show you that the NFL community wasn't as big as the Dynasty community. So,
Right.
But I don't know. A lot of these mock drafts have him possibly a late first-round pick.
I know.
It's going to be really interesting. Like,
there's teams that like him. That's what you're hearing. There's teams that like him. There's teams that don't. The combine's going to be big for him. What will he run?
Yeah.
If he runs really well, chances are he's going to be a late first-round pick. Like I said, he's just a solid guy. I mean, I'm not knocking him. I just, like I said, when you see the hype on Twitter and everything, and you hear all these people talking about him, I expect to see a monster, a dominator.
yeah.
And I just didn't see it.
I expect them to possibly have him around the Butte area, 5'6", and I didn't.
Yeah.
Also, he did have a 10% drop rate last year.
Yeah, I wrote 9 drops.
Yeah, he did. He did have some drops, and he is a senior, so he is a little bit older. And other than that, I guess his slants and post, he rounded them off. Did you guys see that too?
Yeah, the routes were not a perfect science with him.
No.
I mean, he's an okay route runner, but I'm like you, man. Like, a lot of these interceptions, I think he was a part of the reason why. I'm not going to say he was all the reason, but I mean, like, when cornerbacks are beating you back to the ball, and they're undercutting you, and they're they know what's coming. You're not selling it.
Yep.
So
he is really athletic and shifty. I will give him that. He makes a lot of missed tackles.
Yeah.
I currently have him ranked at 9, so actually right behind Rashee Rice.
And really, and honestly, and I said this to you earlier, if I'm one of them teams like we just mentioned, like picking like up high where I'm getting Bijan or Gibbs in the first round, and you need a receiver, I would feel okay with it at the early second. I would, just because I think he's going to get fairly good capital. And like I said, I think he's a safe pick. I don't think he's going to win you like a game by himself, but I think he's someone that if you wanted points, you're going to probably get some points out of him. But I just don't see him dominating anybody week in and week out.
I almost feel like even if he can play inside and out, I feel like he still could be a little bit landing spot dependent.
Yeah.
Do you guys feel that way?
Yeah.
Like, honestly, do you guys feel?
Yeah, and they're saying Patriots are heavily interested in drafting.
He is a Patriots receiver inside and out.
Before all the hype, I saw a lot of mock drafts have him go to the Steelers for the Claypool pick.
Yeah.
But now all the hype's coming, and now he's going to the Patriots.
I've seen a lot of Giants interest. I've heard the Giants are really in on this guy, and like Andy said, this is a Giants type move.
It is. It's a risky one, I feel like.
Yeah.
And Ian's already chewing his fingernails, but I could see the Giants taking a chance. I could see, honestly, it depends. This combine's big for Zay Flowers. If Zay Flowers comes out and he runs like a 4.4, he's definitely probably going to go in the late first, mid to late first. If he runs anything below that, and he maybe has, if he lets down in any of the other areas of performance, he could easily be a second-round pick.
Yeah.
But I do think he's at least a second-round pick. But I think he's got a chance to be in that mid to late first. I mean, if he can really show out at the combine.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to say second round pick.
I think so too. I think it'll be early second though.
Mm-hmm.
I think he'll probably go in the first 10 picks in the second round. Yeah. I'm like you guys. I don't see the hype, but there's a lot of people that are hyping him up. But we'll see. Maybe he shows out at the combine and
and he's not somebody we hate. We're not sitting here saying he's horrible.
Nope. I think he's safe.
Yeah.
I don't think that he's going. Like I said, I don't think he's going to be that guy who can turn your team around single-handedly and win you a bunch of championships. But I think if you needed help, he's safe. That's all I'll say on that.
I think for me, I have him, instead of the rank, I have him in like the Rashee Rice, down to Josh Downs tier. Like I have Rashee Rice, Zay Flowers, Josh Downs. Like that's a tier for me.
That's a good tier.
So one tier above that would be like Jalen Hyatt, Butte, guys like that.
Yep. And that's the thing. Does he get picked before Butte? We'll find out. I don't think so.
Yeah, unless it's the off the field characteristics. That's the only thing from a football standpoint. I just don't see it. I think Butte is better.
Because you compare him athlete to athlete, Butte is a way better athlete.
Yeah.
So it will be interesting. But like you said, he's definitely someone like getting consensus here. You guys are okay with him too. You don't think he's like anything too terrible bad?
No, I have him ranked 6.
I think he's just like Rashee Rice, a little overrated, but I still think he's a safe player. And if you can get him in fantasy in the second round, I think you're doing good.
Yeah, and that's it. Safe. I think safe's the word. Everyone here, we all think he's okay. I wouldn't mind having him in the second round myself, but I wouldn't go crazy. I'm not going to buy the hype that much. I don't think it's worth it, but we'll see what happens at the draft. We're going to go over to Ty with the next one here. It's going to be another interesting player. It's going to be Puka Nacua, wide receiver, BYU Cougars, 6'2", 205 pounds. What's going on with him, Ty?
Yeah, he was a pretty highly touted guy coming out of high school, dominated high school football, and then went to Washington and kind of struggled and went to BYU, transferred to BYU, and then really picked up his game. But what I've seen from him is some of his positives was his excellent catch radius, great long speed that can stretch the field laterally, flashes near elite body control and catching instinct in contested situations, can hang on to passes while taking contact, finds the open areas while working upfield, drives legs and is a powerful and physical runner with the football, and something normally my guys that I get ain't very good at, but he's a fantastic blocker. So some of the negatives I've seen on him, acceleration off the line is not very impressive. He's a better linear runner than a lateral runner. Has to minimize body catches. It's too many of those. Puts himself in bad areas to drop the football. Early to turn and extend for the football. Simple route tree, loves to run vertically too much, and he's delayed by jams off the line. They're projecting to be a day 3 prospect, so again, I don't know if he'll be drafted in fantasy, but 5th round, maybe take a chance on him.
Yeah, because he's kind of like a Swift Army knife. He can do a lot of different things. I mean, I didn't see anything that I particularly love, but I think he can do a lot of things solidly. He's kind of an interesting prospect, and he's another guy I can see Bill Belichick just rubbing his hands together. That's like the kind of player he'd love. Oh, he can kick field goals. I'd love to have him. So, I mean, but in all honesty, like he is interesting, but BYU's kind of a little bit scary.
Yeah.
I mean, you just don't know what's coming out of there sometimes. But another guy, they just kind of like we talked about with Rice and Flowers, smaller school, they tried to force feed this guy the ball constantly. I mean, I seen them trying to give him jet sweeps, screen passes, and I mean, that might have inflated his stats a little bit. Like I said, again, not playing the best competition all the time, a little bit better than the other guys, but not all the time. I mean, I don't know. I'm like Ty, seen some body catches with him. I think that, he needs a lot of work as a route runner. I don't think anything he did was overly crisp. And I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't mind taking a chance on him late, but he's just someone that I'm not overly in love with. But I think his stats were kind of inflated with BYU force-feeding him the ball.
And it kind of scares you, too, that, he went to Washington and really struggled, a bigger school, and had to go to a smaller school. So
yeah. I am a little bit higher than you guys on him. Something that I loved his ability to know where he is on the field. He made a lot of really nice sideline catches, I thought.
Yeah.
I thought that's something he really excelled at. I did like his footwork, and he's a big-time competitor guy, too.
I wrote that down.
Did you?
I like the dog in him.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. He loves to win, so.
Yep.
And I agree with you guys. Like, there's no PY receiver that's had any success, so the chances of him hitting are really slim. when's he gonna go? He's probably
a day 3 guy.
Yeah, definitely a day 3 guy. So it'd be nice if we went to the Patriots. I mean, get him some jet sweeps. Another thing though, too, what's his upside? Like, he's kind of limited,
Right.
So he's Mr. Unlimited. He's just gonna be a guy, but if he goes to the Patriots or something, could he do like a Wes Welker role?
Yeah.
I mean, he's bigger, of course, 6'2", 205, but find open space and make the best of it.
It just seems like maybe to me like he's a better college player than he will be a pro player.
Yeah.
I don't know if he'll make the jump. It'll be interesting. I'm like you. He'll be probably a day 3 guy. But I'm like you. If he goes somewhere that knows how to utilize him,
right?
I mean, use him like that Swiss Army knife. Maybe he can come up with some things.
I thought he was a good contested catch guy too. So I currently have him ranked kind of high. I got him at 12.
That's exactly where I have him.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, I got him at 12.
Yep.
Me and you were a little closer on that one, though.
Yeah.
Where did you guys have him?
I got him at 16.
16.
Yeah, so, I mean, he's not, like, horribly down far for me, but, I mean, it's just, like, I don't know. Like, I just think he's a day 3 guy. And, again, going back to, like we said, I like the tight ends and running backs, man. I mean, I really do. I mean, but who knows? I mean, like I said, the Combine, and I keep saying that, guys, it's really important. You all got to tune in. The Combine's going down this weekend. Mm-hmm. We're going to find out a lot more about these guys and if they really help their stock or not.
Yeah.
I mean, they really could. If he comes out and he runs a really good time, I mean, it could get a little more interesting for him. Maybe that'll propel him to more of a late day 2 pick. Mm-hmm. So it's something to watch. But we're going to go over here to Muss, and it's going to be the last one, and it's going to be the big hitter of this group. It's going to be Quentin Johnston, wide receiver, TCU Horned Frogs, 6'4", 215 pounds. What's going on?
I think he's another one that's really frustrating.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, in my opinion, because, like, I saw periods of, like, dominance, and then I saw periods of, like, just, I'm like, what's he doing here? Like, his first 4 games this year, he had 114 yards, and then next 2 games, he had 386.
Yep.
So, I mean, and to be honest, I think he's, like, the perfect prototype receiver, but he just doesn't have the numbers to match.
Right.
And, I mean, I thought his size and speed could be the best call. Like, he's almost like the Butte. Like, I could see him being the number 1 guy.
Yep.
But I could also see him busting. So, like, I hate to keep saying that every week, but, like,
we put the pressure on you.
Yeah, like, it is the guy that, like, I could see him,
Oh, yeah. He has
being the guy.
He has the capability. He has the size. He has the speed.
Yep.
I mean, it's just like he can disappear, though.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, like, you watch that game against Kansas. I mean, he just absolutely dominated Kansas, dominated Oklahoma State. And then you just see him, and, okay, and then you go to a couple games. You might catch a few balls for 50 yards, and you just don't hear much from him.
Yeah, I mean, he's great in contested catches. I mean, I saw that, but just a lot of drops.
Yeah.
He had 8 drops last year. I mean, not a good run blocker. So, I mean, he's not going to be out there run blocking. And just a limited route tree I saw.
His yards after the catch is his one thing.
Yeah, he's a violent runner.
He does that little spin move, like he gets it. And I feel like that's where a lot of his drops came from. Like he was almost looking upfield first.
Right.
Yeah. He has a nice spin move and a good stiff arm. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, once he gets in the open field, that's where he really does his damage. And, I mean, when he gets going, he is kind of hard to bring down. I mean, like, he just don't fall down lots of times, but he's got to get running for about 10 or 15 yards. But, I don't know, man, but the one thing about this guy is, and I'll go back to it, number 1 Georgia, 1 catch, 3 yards.
Yep.
In the national championship game. And it's like, that's what I go back to, like when you disappear, I mean, you need your biggest players to be their biggest and play their best in the best games.
Yeah.
And 1 catch for 3 yards, just don't do it. But I'm like you. He has all the physical attributes. Mm-hmm. He's gifted there, and he's not horrible in a lot of things. But I don't know how committed he is at times.
I know.
I mean, that's where I think the disappeared goes when he wants to disappear. When he wants to dominate you, I think he can. But it's like, does he want to all the time, or does he just want to disappear?
And he's a dreaded TCU receiver. We see it time after time with busts with these guys. I mean, I hate to say it, but it's true.
Yeah.
It's like the opposite of SMU.
It's scary. And actually, his contested catches weren't that great. Like per PFF, 8 of 23.
Oh, okay.
So it's only 34%. So that ranked down pretty low, actually, in the class. But I'm like you. I seen a lot that it looked like, I don't know if they were just to highlight real parts or, you know.
Yeah, you go back to like the first 3 games. Colorado, 3 catches for 22. Going up against SMU, 3 catches for 29. Then he was going up against Tarleton Texans, 3 catches for like 29 yards again. Mm-hmm. It's like, man, like them teams, he should just be absolutely dominating. I mean, if he would have played the way he's capable of against those teams, he could have easily been the first receiver off this board.
Yeah. And I seen a stat here. Since 2018, there's only been 2 receivers drafted in the first round who have had a drop rate worse than 10%, and that was Jalen Reagor and Rashad Bateman.
Oh, Jalen Reagor.
But I don't. For me though, man, Quentin Johnston, I feel like he's going to be a little bit of a bust, just because it's more of a you're drafting for the potential, not like it's there.
It's the upside.
Exactly, it's the potential, and I don't know, man. Small school guy, struggled against Georgia, struggled against some other smaller schools.
Tarleton Texans.
Yeah. And then with the drops, I don't know. It's scary.
It's a shame because he'll probably be a top 20 pick.
Oh, yeah, I definitely think he's a top 20 pick.
Some team's going to take a chance on him.
And then being 6'4", 215, how he can move. Like, the contested catches worry me, but at the same time, they don't, because if he can get behind a defense, then it doesn't even matter. Like,
Right.
Or if they get him in the open field with, how he is with the ball in his hands after the catch. So, I mean, we're going to see. It's definitely, you got half the community over here saying he's a bust and half of them saying, like, he's the greatest thing. I currently have him ranked at 3, and that's just on pure upside because what he could be.
Oh, monster, yeah.
But understand the floor is low.
Exactly.
Yep, that's it, man. If you bust out, you bust out.
Yeah.
And, the thing is, it's not even just TCU, Big 12. We talked about this. How many Big 12 guys have come out at the receiver position and been elite?
Not many.
Des Bryant's the only one that, like, within recent memory that's been anything solidly good. And, I mean, Des was a great player, but he wasn't, like, the best receiver either. I mean, he was a top guy, but he wasn't the best. So, if that's the best you're putting out, it is interesting. But, like, I'm like Muss, man. This could be a make-or-break pick for your draft. I wouldn't take him too high.
No.
Like, if I'm looking at him, if I'm anywhere from 8 to 12, that's where you take your chance, especially if he's picked in the first round, because you're a good team. You have the ability to try to get that upside player, and if he busts out, he busts out. But if you're a rebuilding team, you can't afford to miss. I mean, on that type of guy,
right?
I mean, we're playing a high stakes poker game here, and you could really lose all your chips.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the national championship game too, Ringo, who's the corner for Georgia. I think he's projected to be possibly a late round first pick. When he was covering Johnson, which was quite a bit of the game, he wasn't targeted one time.
Yeah.
So first round talent corner blanketed him. So
yeah, and it's just amazing. Like I said, you watch that game against Kansas, he just dominated that game. I mean, he just took it over. And then you watch him against the Tarleton Texans, and it's like, where is he?
You almost wonder if it's a head thing. Like,
it's like maybe someone said something to him, got him fired up. I don't know.
Like, I wouldn't want to see him at the Patriots, but could that be a good situation?
Right.
Because he would have the coaching to say.
Right.
Like, could Bill just...
But the thing is, Bill is more of a defensive guy.
Right.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's still being a good coach because I don't think it's a talent thing. I think it's a mental thing at times.
Yeah, because even against Michigan there in the Final Four game, 6 catches, 163 yards, and a touchdown.
Yeah.
It's really odd.
It is odd. He can turn it on when he wants, and it seems like he can turn it off when he wants.
Is he your guys' 3 too?
Yeah.
Yo, he has to be. But
JSN, Addison, and then him.
Yeah.
See, I got Addison, JSN, then him.
Just because, like you said, he's gonna. I mean, I don't know. Like, my thing is, like, I don't think it's a slam dunk that he's a first-round pick. I think there's a great chance of it. I'm going to say 85%. But, I mean, who knows? I mean, when they talk to these guys in the interview process, we said it could be mental. I mean, maybe he don't run a good 40. Maybe he just don't run a good 40. Maybe it's all in his head. Maybe that makes him slide down the board. You just don't know how these things go. But if he comes out, he does dominate like he's capable of in the 40-yard dash, and he shows out at the combine, he could maybe even be the first receiver picked.
Yeah, I think there's a good chance he could be. I personally wouldn't do it, but
Yeah, I mean, he has the physical traits to where people might say, hey, take the chance on him. But
I think he's a great prototype guy.
He is.
Size and
6'4",
speed.
215.
If you were looking up a receiver in the dictionary just to say receiver, Quentin Johnston's picture would be in there. I mean, he's got the size, he's got the speed. I mean, he just looks the part, but can he do it?
Right.
Yeah.
That's the interesting part. You just can't disappear in the NFL.
He's got a lot riding on him. All these
yeah.
bust out of TCU. I mean, he could be the change.
He could be the mold breaker.
Yeah.
Where do you guys think like perfect spot would be for him? Like most talent he could be on a team.
I think the Chargers would be a good one. I'd like to see him with the Chargers.
Like him with the Chargers.
I think
paired with Herbert.
I think the Giants would be good just because I think Dable would be good for him.
Yeah, I do
think
too.
Get with an offensive minded guy that could help him out. The Chiefs obviously would be a nice landing spot.
I think the Cowboys.
I was
would be nice
just going
for
to
him,
say
too.
that Cowboys.
Yeah, Jerry'd take good care of him.
he would fit a cowboy mentality.
He
You know,
would.
Well, like Ian said, Jerry likes the shiny picks, man.
He
So
does.
he could be, all excited.
that's why I see them take a Bichon. I just feel like he's just going to want the hype.
Yep. Everyone will be all excited.
Yep.
But now this is going to do it, though, guys, for our wide receiver film session review part 3. This is it. Finally, we're through these guys, but we're glad we did it for you. Like I said, it's really, really interesting to go through them and see who might be a diamond in the rough. Are these guys what we think they are? Like I said, Zay Flowers, interesting. I mean, maybe a lot of people have him hyped. We really ain't as high on him. We think he's an okay player. Quentin Johnston, same thing. We just went over him. I mean, it's really interesting to see what everyone's opinions are.
Right.
They all matter. But the Combine is this weekend. Make sure you all tune into that because that's really important. I think this is really the last time outside of the pro days where these guys can make a case for themselves.
Yeah.
So we're going to find a little bit more out there. So tune into that. Make sure you check that out. Before we hop off, got a couple things to mention. I know the next show we're going to be doing is the pre-free agency frenzy show.
Nice.
Cannot wait for that, man. I know Ty's rubbing his hands together. That's one of his favorite topics.
I'm ready to get back to my bread and butter.
Get back to one of them topics. It'll be a lot of fun. So make sure you tune in with us next week. Going to be talking about a lot of guys where they could end up. Your Josh Jacobs, you're possibly Saquon Barkley, Daniel Jones. It's hard to believe I'm saying some of them names are still out there.
Yeah.
There has been no tags yet. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes and where they might end up.
Yep.
So we're going to be going over all that. Also, going to mention again, the Bijan Robinson signed mini helmet. Entered a chance to win this bad boy, guys. This is a really nice helmet. Very first thing you got to do to enter for one chance, retweet the picture of the helmet on Twitter and follow our Twitter page at DynastyDNA_, and you'll be entered once to win. If you subscribe to our YouTube channel, you'll be entered twice. So you'll have 2 chances to win. And, hey, man, why not take a chance at it? You have free crack. You might be a winner.
Yeah.
And, again, we'll be giving that away at the NFL Draft, hoping to do a live show. We'll keep you posted on that. Another thing is, like I just mentioned, follow us at Twitter at DynastyDNA_. Check us out on Spotify, Apple Pods, Stitcher, Amazon, Google Podcasts. We're on all the big ones. Like I said, every week, I cannot say it enough. We appreciate you guys' support. It's been phenomenal. We thank you for the follows, the comments, the likes. I mean, everything. The Dynasty community is great. We love talking Dynasty fantasy football, and it gives us something to look forward to all year long. And you guys are the best. The DNA Strand crew, you're growing. Number one, we appreciate you. And another thing to mention, follow us and subscribe on YouTube. And, yeah, man, hey, if you want to talk about some of these players, leave a comment. We'd be glad to talk to you about it. I mean, it's a lot of fun. So
yeah,
we're just juiced up as everyone else. So check us out on all those, and we'll be seeing you for the next episode of Dynasty DNA.
See you guys.
See ya.
See ya.